Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. We'll continue the fourth canto, seventh chapter. We are coming towards the end of the prayers offered by the members of that Sabha to Lord Vishnu. We are also coming towards the end of this entire episode of Daksha Yajna. So let us recite the shloka. So the last three shlokas, 45, 46 and 47. In these three shlokas, the Brahmanas assembled in the sacrifice, they are offering prayers to Vishnu. Somebody can repeat after me. Tvam puragam rasaya maha sukaro
त्वं पुरागां रसाया महासुकरो
damshtraya padminim varanendro yata
द्रंष्टया पद्मिनीं वारणेन्द्रो यथा
stuyamano nadallilaya yogibir
स्तूयमानो नदल्लीलया योगिभिः
vyujyaharta trayigatrayajna kratuhu
विद्य अर्थ त्रयी गात्र यज्ञ क्रतुः. Dear Lord, O personified Vedic knowledge, in the past millennium, long, long ago, when you appeared as the great boar incarnation, you picked up the world from the water as an elephant picks up a lotus flower from a lake. When you vibrated transcendental sound in that gigantic form of a boar, the sound was accepted as a sacrificial hymn, and great sages like Sanaka meditated upon it and offered prayers for your glorification.
Hey Trayigatra. Trayigatra is the Sambodhana Vibhakti word in which they address the Lord. Trayigatra means Veda Trayamurte, a personification of the Vedas. Yajnaha sa yupaha kratur viyupo yaga visheshas tadrupo yajna sankalpa rupo va yajna karma yasyeti va tvameva mahasukraha. So they are saying that Tvam puragam rasaya mahasukaro damshaya padmini varanendro yata Trayigatra yajna kratuhu. Trayigatra yajna kratuhu, that is the word. Here the word yajna, Trayigatra yajna kratuhu. Yajna, here it refers to, in yajna there are many ingredients in a yajna. Yupa means, I think, a particular stamba will be there. A particular pole will be there. That will be used to make the yagashala, that will be used to tie the animals to that particular pole. I think that is a yupa. Sa yupaha kratur viyupo yaga visheshas tadrupo यज्ञ संकल्प रूपो वा यज्ञ कर्म यस्येति वा त्वमेव. All the different elements in the yajna, they are all you only. Tvam eva. And then they are saying that Mahasukaraha. You, in the form of the Mahasukara, in the form of the boar, Mahasukaraha son, Yogibihi Sanakadibihi Stuyamanaha. When you assumed the form of a boar, you are glorified by great yogis like Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanat Kumara, Sanandana. Sanakadibihi Stuyamanaha. Swayam cha Nadan Leelaya. Anayaseneva. Leelaya means Anayaseneva. Very easily, just as a matter of play, you lifted the mother earth. Swayam cha Nadan, while making a sound. While making a sound, Leelaya Anayaseneva, very easily, Pura means, here it refers to Srishti Prarambha Samaye. In the beginning of the Srishti, that means Pratame Manvantare, in the first Manvantara, Prajanam Sthityartham, in order to provide a place for all the living entities who are going to be situated, who are going to be created. In order to provide a place for all the living entities who are going to be created, Prajanam Sthityartham, Rasayaha, from the Rasatala Loka. The earth had gone down to the Rasatala Loka. Rasatalat, Gam. Gam refers to Prithvi. Gam, Prithivim, Damshtraya Padminim. Damshtraya means with the help of his Damshtra, with the help of his tusk. Padminim, Kamalinim, Varanendro Yata. Varanendro, just like an elephant, lifts the lotus flower very easily. Elephant, does it have to put any effort to lift a lotus flower? Not at all. Similarly, you lifted the earth very easily. Leelaya, anayase naiva. Nadan, while making a sound. Varanendro yata vyujyaharta. Vyujyaharta means you lifted. Vyujyaharta means Visheshena udritavan asi. Visheshena udritavan asi. You very easily lifted this earth. So that is what is spoken over here. Krishna Chakotipad says in the purport, in the past, in the form of the great boar, Mahasukara, Stuyamano, Yogibir Stuyamano, praised by the great yogis, by the sages. Leelaya, you easily lifted the mother earth. Gam, from the water. Rasaya, from the water. With your trunk, Damtraya, like an elephant lifts a lotus. While you roared, Nadal. So Prabhupada here comments on this word, shloka. He takes the word Gatra and then comments. Gatra means the Lord is the form of the Vedas. So because the Lord is the personification of the Vedas, anybody who engages in the worship of the deity or the form of the Lord in the temple, such a person is understood to be studying the 4 Vedas 24 hours a day. Simply by decorating the deities of the Lord, one very minutely studies the injunctions of the Vedas, because the Lord's form is the personification of the Vedas. Even a neophyte devotee, a Kanishta Adhikari, who engages in the deity worship, is said to be in direct touch with the purport of Vedic knowledge. Because Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedya. The purport of Vedas is to know Krishna. So one who worships and serves Krishna directly has understood the truth of the Veda. Even if that person is illiterate, but if he is sincerely serving the deity, he is said to be studying the Shastra. He is said to be studying the Vedas. So we can see, like in the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Krishna says that Adyeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoho jnanayajnena tenaham ishtasyam iti me mati. The 18th chapter, Krishna says that one who studies this conversation which happened between me and Arjuna with his intelligence, such a person is actually worshipping me. Such a person is actually offering arti to me. So we see here in the shloka, one who is engaged in the worship of the deity, he is said to be in touch with the purport of the Vedas. The Bhagavad Gita says that one who studies the Bhagavad Gita, my instructions with his intelligence, he is said to be worshipping me. He is said to be engaged in deity worship. Therefore, in the absolute platform, worship of the deity form of the Lord and studying the direct instructions of Krishna, studying the Shastras, both are in the same platform. Both are in the same absolute platform. Next shloka. Saprasidhatvamasmakam akankshatam.
सप्रसीद त्वम् अस्माकम् आकाङ्क्षताम्
Darshanam te paribrashta satkarmanam.
दर्शनं ते परिभ्रष्ट सत्कर्मणाम्
Kirtyamane nribirnamni yajneshate.
कीर्त्यमाने नरभिर्नाम्नि यज्ञनेशते
यज्ञविघ्नाक्षयं यान्ति तस्मै नमः.
यज्ञविघ्नः क्षयं यान्ति तस्मै नमः. Translation. Dear Lord, we are awaiting your audience because we have been unable to perform the yajnas according to the Vedic rituals. We pray unto you, therefore, to be pleased with us. We pray unto you, therefore, to be pleased with us. Simply by chanting your holy name, one can surpass all obstacles. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you in your presence.
So we see here the last prayer. Saprasida tvam asmakam akankshatam. Darshanam te paribrashta satkarmanam. Kirtyamane nribirnamni yajneshate. May you, who is non-different from the boar, who is non-different from the four, may you be pleased with us. Saprasida. Tvam saprasida. May you be pleased with us. Akankshatam. We are eager to see you. Although we have interrupted the sacrifice, but we are eager to see you. And then they are saying that, O Lord of the sacrifice, Yajnesha, Kirtyamane Nribir Namni, when your name is chanted, Namni Kirtyamane, Yajya Vignaha Kshayam Yanti, the obstacles to sacrifice disappear. Tasmai Namaha, we offer respects to you. So they are saying here, Hey Yajnesha, O Lord of the sacrifice, Sadaya Murtitvam Paribrashtam Satkarma Yesham Tesham Api Te Tava Darshanam Akankshatam Naha Asmakam Prasida. Sadaya Murtitvam. your form is actually filled with compassion. Sadaya Murtitva. Paribrashtam Satkarma. Yesham, we have actually interrupted your sacrifice. Paribrashtam Satkarma. Tava Darshanam Akankshatam. We are eager to take your darshan. So, Asmakam Prasida, please show your mercy upon us. Please be satisfied with us. Although we have interrupted your sacrifice. Te namni nribihi kirtyamane. When your name, holy name is chanted by the human beings. Kirtyamane sati, yajna vignaha, all the obstacles to sacrifice. Sarva satkarma vignaha, yajna vignaha, all the obstacles to the pious activities. Kshayam yanti, they get destroyed. Tasmai sarvopakarino tubhyam namaha. So therefore, to you, who is sarvopakarina, who always performs so much of benevolent activities to others, to you we offer our obeisances. So, Ushna Chakotipad says that if chanting your name destroys obstacles, then how much more will your very presence destroy the obstacles? The obstacles to the sacrifice were done by the followers of Shiva. Because the Brahmanas did not do the obstacles to the sacrifice were done by the followers of Shiva. So here Prabhupada explains the purport that the Brahmana priests were hopeful that the sacrifice would be carried out without the obstacles, since Vishnu is present. So they are saying that simply by chanting your names, we can surpass the obstacles. But now you are personally present. Desha Kalartha Yuktani. Ne. What's that sloka? Mantratas Tantratas Chidram Desha Kalarha Vastunaha Sarvam Karoti Nishchidram Anusankirtanam Tava. All the mistakes which are committed in relation to chanting of the mantras or observing the different mudras and rules, all the mistakes in relation to impurity of the substances, all these things will be nullified when your holy name is chanted. So the performance of yajna by Daksha were obstructed by the followers of Shiva. So the Brahmanas are indirectly criticizing the followers of Shiva. So because the Brahmanas were always protected by Vishnu, Shiva's followers could not do any harm to their prosecution of the sacrificial process. So when Krishna decides to protect somebody, nobody can harm such a person. When Krishna decides to kill a person, nobody can protect such a person. Ravana was such a great devotee of Shiva, but when Ram wanted to kill him, nobody could protect him. So, in this way, with this shloka, the prayers conclude, and then now the Vishnu is going to speak. Before that, few verses are there. Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Iti Dakshakha Viryagyam
Iti Daksha Kaviryagyam
Bhadrarudrabhimarshitam
Bhadrarudrabhimarshitam
Tirtyamane Rishikeshe
Kirtamane Rishikeshe
Sanninye Yajna Bhavane.
Tanninye Yagya Bhavane. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, after Lord Vishnu was glorified by all present, Daksha, his consciousness purified. arranged to begin again the yajna which had been devastated by the followers of Lord Shiva.
So, iti refers to Purva Prakarena. In the above mentioned all these prayers, Purva Prakarena, Yajnasya Bhavane. Here, Vishnu is called as Yajna Bhavana. Yajna Bhavana means Yajnasya Palake, the protector of the sacrifice. Yajnasya Palake, Yajnasya Bhavane, Rishikeshe Kirtyamane, Stuyamane Sati. So when the Lord Vishnu, who is the protector of the sacrifice, who is the well-wisher of a sacrifice, when he is glorified, Kavir Nirmalanta Karane Dakshaha. Kavir Nirmalanta Karane Dakshaha. Bhadrakyo Rudro Veerabhadraha Tena Avamarshitam Nashitam Yagyam Sanninye Pravartayamasa. So Kavir Nirmalanta Karano Dakshaha. Daksha with a pure Antakarana, with a pure consciousness. Daksha again started the sacrifice, which was contaminated, which was destroyed by Veerabhadra, the associate of Lord Shiva. Associate of Lord Shiva. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that after Vishnu, Yagya Bhavana, with the well-wisher of the sacrifice, was glorified, Kirtyamane, the wise Daksha, Kavir Daksha, the wise Daksha restored the sacrifice. Sanninye means restored, Pravartayamasa, which was spoiled by Rudrabhimarshitam. Rudra Abhimarshitam, which was spoiled by Veerabhadra. Next shloka. So, Bhagavan Svena Bhagena
Bhagavan Svena Bhagena
Sarvatma Sarva Bhagabhuk
Sarvatma Sarva Bhagabhuta
Daksham Babasha Abhashya
Daksham Babasha Abhasya
Priyamana Ivanaga.
Priyamana Ivanagha. Maitreya continued, my dear sinless Vidura, Lord Vishnu is actually the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices. Yet, because of his being the super soul of all living entities, he was satisfied simply with his share of the sacrificial offerings. He therefore addressed Daksha in a pleasing attitude.
You will see the final words will be spoken by Lord Vishnu. Before that, Maitreya Rishi is saying that, He Anaga Vidura. He is addressing Vidura by the word Anaga, sinless Vidura. Sarvatma Ataha Sarvesham Devanam Bhaga Bugapi Bhagavan Svena Bhagena Trikapalena Purodashena Priyamana Iva Daksham Abhashya Sambodhya Babashe. Sarvatma, the super soul of everyone. Sarvesham Devanam Bhagabugapi. So Bhagavan, the Lord Vishnu, he appeared to be pleased with the particular sacrificial offering which was made towards him. Trikapalena Purodashena Priyamana Iva. He appeared to be pleased with Daksha. Appeared to be, whenever the word Iva means Whenever the word iva comes in the shloka, iva means tad bhinnatve sati tat sadrishyatvam. Tad bhinnatve sati tat sadrishyatvam. That means sadrishya means something similarity. Bhinnatve means different. Although the entity is different from the other entity, but there is some similarity. That is the meaning of the word iva. So, priyamana iva means the Lord appeared to be pleased. Daksham abhashya sambodhya babashe. So the Lord spoke to Daksha. So nija ananda triptasya purodasha matrena purna pritir abhavad iva shabdah. Although the Lord is satisfied with the offering made to him, but purna pritir abhavat, he is not completely satisfied. That is why the word iva shabda is used. He is not completely satisfied. That's why the priyamana iva. Krishna was sinless Vidura, the Supreme Lord, Sarvatma, the soul of all beings, with Sarva Bhagabhuk, the enjoyer of sacrifice, Priyamana Iva, he appeared to be pleased with his share of the sacrifice. Priyamana Iva. And then he spoke, Babasha, addressing Daksha, he spoke. So, Priyamana Iva is, the word Iva is important. He appeared pleased with his own particular share of the sacrifice. But actually, whenever I say he appeared to be pleased, that means what is hidden, what is indicated is that he is not completely pleased. Actually, he is not completely pleased. Why? Because Daksha had committed offense to Shiva. So Maitreya Rishi is, why is he particularly using the word Anaga to address Vidura? He is telling that unlike Daksha, you never committed an offense to a Devata. Therefore, you are Anaga, you are sinless. Yes, particularly sinless means you did not commit an offense. Therefore, the Lord is definitely pleased with you. But with Daksha, he appeared to be pleased because he committed offense to Lord Shiva. Therefore, you are the example of a proper person. So, Prabhupada is also commenting on the word. So, Krishna is the Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam, supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. The Lord is self-satisfied, but he accepts offerings because of his friendly attitude towards all living entities. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachat. So, see, the point with the Daksha is that the main mistake done by Daksha is that he did not follow the aspect of Ishavasya principle. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrita kasya svidana. So Ishavasya principle has got two aspects. One aspect is that the whole world is controlled and owned by Vishnu. So Daksha in one sense accepted Vishnu is the proprietor of everything. But the verse also says that having accepted Vishnu as the proprietor of everything, one should accept only one's own quota. One should not interfere in another's quota. This aspect was not followed by Daksha because Daksha interfered in the quota of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is supposed to get a certain portion of the sacrificial offering. But Daksha, although he accepted Vishnu's supremacy, but he interfered in Lord Shiva's quota, that is why he cursed. the Lord Shiva will not be able to accept the sacrificial offerings. And in his sacrifice, he did not offer offerings to Lord Shiva. So this aspect was not followed by Daksha. He interfered with the share of Shiva. So therefore, Prabhupada says that another point here is that he does not encroach upon another share. In the yajna, there is a share for all the devatas. The Lord is satisfied with his own share and does not encroach upon other share. But then here it is indicated that he was not satisfied with Daksha's trying to deny Lord Shiva his share. So that is the offense he committed to Lord Shiva. But on the other hand, Vidura is sinless because he never committed an offense to any devata. So therefore, although one may be worshipping Vishnu, but one should be careful that one does not commit an offense to a devata by disrespecting the devata. So for a Vaishnava, there is no possibility of offending any devatas, and the demigods are pleased with the Vaishnava because they are faultless devotees of Vishnu. Now the next, I think 5-6 shlokas are spoken by Bhagavan Vishnu. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Aham Brahma cha Sharvascha
Aham Brahma cha Sarvascha
Jagata Karanam Param
Jagata Karanam Param
Atmeshwara Upadrashta
Atmeshwara Upadrashta
Swayandrga Visheshanaha.
Swayandrig Avisheshanaha. Translation. Lord Vishnu replied, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me.
Aham Brahma cha Sharvascha Jagata Karanam Param. Myself, Brahma and Shiva we are the cause of the universe. I am the cause of the universe. Atmeshwara, I am the Lord of the soul. Upadrashta, witness. Swayam Drug, self-revealing. And I, Brahma and Shiva are non-different from each other. Avisheshanaha. Avisheshanaha. Why there's a sound? So do not commit an offense. The Lord is giving instruction to Daksha. There is no difference between the three of us. Avisheshanaha. So it is said that Aham Jagataha Param Karanam. I am the cause of the universe. Atma Ishwaraha. I am the Atma Paramatma. I am the Ishwara. I am the Upadrashta. That means Sakshi. Swayandrik. Swayandrik means I am self-revealing. I am Swayam Prakasha. Avisheshanaha. Upadi Rahitascha Asmi. Avisheshanaha means I am without any designation. Sayeva Brahmacha Sharvascheti. Brahma and Shiva are also like that. So here, we will discuss some of the shloka. So Brahma was born from Vishnu, Shiva was born from the body of Brahma. So therefore Vishnu is the supreme cause, Jagata Karanam Param. Therefore the Vedas clearly say that in the beginning there was only Vishnu, neither Brahma nor Shiva. Shankaracharya also said that Narayana Paro Vyaktat. So Vishnu is also the Atmeshwara, super soul of in everyone. And he is the Aham Adirhi Devanam. Krishna says that I am the original Adi Deva, origin of all the Devatas. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava Janmadhyasayataha yato va imani bhutani jayante. All these shlokas are quoted. So the Lord is the cause and also the effect. Whatever effect we see is the interaction of his energy. And because the energy is generated from him is both the cause and effect. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. So some of these shlokas it will appear that there is no difference between me, Brahma and Shiva. Vishnu is saying that. We will understand the meaning of these statements just in some time. Next shloka. Atmamayam samavishya
Atmamayam samavishya
soham gunamayim dvija
soham gunamayim dvija
Srijan rakshan haran vishvam
Rujan rakshan haran vishwam
dadre sanyam kriyochitam.
Tadre sanyam kriyochitam. The Lord continued, my dear Daksha Dvija, I am the original personality of Godhead, but in order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy and according to the different grades of activity. My representations are differently named.
So he's saying that, Hey Dvija, he's addressing Daksha by the word Hey Dvija, Saha Paramakarana Bhuto Ahameva. I am the ultimate cause of everything. Paramakarana Bhuto Ahameva. I am only the ultimate cause of everything. But Rajadi Gunamayim Atma Mayam Samavishya Adhishtaya Vishwam Srijan Rakshan Haramsha Kriyochitam Sargadi Karma Yogyam Sanyam Srashta Vishwambaraha Hara Ityakyam Dadre Darayami. Although I am the ultimate cause of this whole universe, but for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, I assume the forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of course, Vishnu is directly the Vishnu Tattva, but for the purpose of creation and destruction, I assume the forms of Brahma and Shiva, and for the purpose of maintenance, I assume the form of Vishnu. So, Jiva Bhutam Mahabhava, the whole world is the energy released from the Supreme Lord. So, the living entities are the superior energy of the Lord. So, the Lord Vishnu is alone for the purpose of creation. Brahma is manifested, and for annihilation, there is Shiva. As far as the spiritual entrance into the material world is concerned, all beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but under the covering of different material qualities, they have different names. Brahma and Shiva are qualitative incarnations of Vishnu as Gunavataras, and Vishnu with them accepts control of the quality of Sattva Guna. Therefore, he is also a qualitative incarnation like Shiva and Brahma. So, so Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, all three are the Gunavataras. So out of that, Brahma comes under the Jiva Tattva, Shiva comes under the Shiva Tattva, Vishnu comes under the category of Vishnu Tattva. So the origin of all three is same. That is Bhagavan Vishnu only, who is the Paramakarana. Tasmin Brahmanyadvitiye.
तस्मिन् ब्रह्मणि द्वितीये
Kevale Paramatmani.
केवले परमात्मनि
Brahmarudrau cha Bhutani.
ब्रह्मरुद्रौ च भूतानि
Vede Nagyonu Pashyati.
भेदेनाज्ञोऽनुपश्यति. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent.
So here, the Lord is saying that Tasmin Advitiye Veda Rahite Kevale Nisange Paramatmani Brahmani Mayi Brahma Rudrau Bhutanicha Agnya Eva Vedena Anupashyati. Although there is no difference between me, Brahma and Shiva, but those who are ignorant, they see the difference. They consider Brahma and Shiva to be independent of me. They consider Brahma and Shiva to be independent of me. So we see the whole, everything we see in this world, nothing is independent of Vishnu. Nothing is independent of Vishnu. To think that something is independent of Vishnu, that is called as Maya. Ritertam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani samvidyad atmano yogam yatabaso yatatamaha. To think that some entity is independent of Vishnu, that is Maya. So Brahma and Shiva, they are also dependent on Vishnu because they come from Vishnu. So because of that, Shaktir Shaktimatam Abeda, the Shakti is non-different from the Shaktiman. So because they come from Vishnu, the effect is non-different from the cause. So there is a Satkarya Vada. What is Satkarya Vada? The effect is non-different from the cause, but cause is not identical with the effect. Or another point in Satkaryavada is that the effect is dependent on the cause, but the cause is independent of the effect. So here the cause is Vishnu, the effect is Brahma and Shiva, because Brahma comes from Vishnu and Shiva comes from Brahma. So Brahma and Shiva, they are non-different from Vishnu, but Vishnu is not identical with Brahma and Shiva. Vishnu is different from them. And Brahma and Shiva, they are dependent on Vishnu, but Vishnu is independent of Brahma and Shiva. This is called a Satkaryavada. So when a person thinks that the demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, that means they are not dependent on Vishnu. That is actually such a person is committing a mistake. Such a person is having a wrong understanding. Such a person is considered an ignorant person. So the living entities, including Brahma, are not independently separated, but are counted within the marginal potency of the Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the super soul in every living entity, including Brahma and Shiva, is directing everyone in the activities of the material modes of nature. So because everybody is directed through the material nature, which is the energy of the Lord, therefore nobody is independent of the Lord. So indirectly, nobody is independent of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, certainly Brahma and Rudra, who are incarnations of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, even they are not independent of Vishnu. So to think that Brahma and Shiva are independent of Vishnu, that is actually, such a person is ignorant. In fact, nothing in this world is independent of Vishnu. Everything is an energy of the Lord. When you think that something is independent of Vishnu, then you think of enjoying that. Then you want to lord it over that. You want to enjoy that. When you understand that something is you understand that something is owned by another person, then you will not want to enjoy. When you think that something is independent of the owner, independent of Vishnu, then a person desires to enjoy that. Vishnu Chakotipad says here. So the ignorant person sees difference between the jivas and me, who am non-dual, absolute, Brahman and Paramatma. What to speak of seeing difference between Brahma, Shiva and me? So how are Brahma, who is a jiva, and Shiva, who is touched by the gunas, even though being Ishvara, non-different from you? This is the question. How is it that Brahma is a jivatma, and Shiva is touched by the gunas? How is it that they are non-different from you? So this is explained using Kaimutika Nyaya. The ignorant person sees difference between Jiva and me. What to speak of seeing difference between Brahma, Shiva and me? But the wise person does not see the difference. What wise person does not see the difference means wise person understands that the Brahma and Shiva are dependent on Vishnu because they are the effects coming from Vishnu. So the wise person will not see the difference. The Jivatmas are non-different from me because they are my Tatastha Shakti. And the Shakti is non-different from Shaktiman. So Brahma and Shiva are non-different from me because they are Gunavataras. And then next shloka, very important shloka. Yata Pumanna Swangeshu
Yatha puman swangeshu
Shirapanyadishu Kvachit
shira panyadishu kvachita
Parakya Buddhim Kurute
parakya buddhim kurute
Evam Bhuteshu Matparaha.
evam bhuteshu matparaha. A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotee does not differentiate Vishnu, the all pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity.
So here Vishnu is also giving an analogy. Yata Puman na Swangeshu Shirapanyadishu. For the same point which is explained in the previous shloka. A person with an intelligent person does not think the head and the other parts of the body to be different from the body. Similarly, a really intelligent person, my devotee, does not differentiate Vishnu from anything or any living entity. But then, when a person sees this actually, reads this statement, one does not differentiate between Vishnu and other living entities or anything in this world. I mean, Vishnu is identical with everything. One may think like that. Vishnu is identical with everything. But then, yeah, Vishnu is not different from anything or any living entity because everything is an energy of Vishnu. At the same time, Vishnu is not completely identical with everything in this world. Vishnu is not completely identical with Brahma, Shiva, or any other living entity. There is a simultaneous oneness and also difference. Both are there. Both are there. Sometimes, see, people go to two extremes. One extreme is that people see different things in this world to be different from Vishnu. And therefore, they commit offenses. When a person sees Shiva to be different, Daksha is definitely a devotee of Vishnu. But because he saw Shiva to be different from Vishnu, he offended Shiva. So therefore, here the oneness is emphasized. Because by seeing the difference, Daksha offended Lord Shiva. And sometimes people go to other extreme where they see only the oneness and they don't see the difference. And then because of that, they see that everything is Vishnu. You are Narayana, I am Narayana, everyone is Narayana. They don't see the difference. The Shaktiman is Shakti is identical with Shaktiman, at the same time is different from Shaktiman. So when they don't see the difference, when they see only the oneness, then they bring the Supreme Lord to the position of an ordinary living entity. Or they elevate the living entity to the position of the Supreme Lord. Then also they commit offense. So therefore, one has to understand the simultaneous oneness as well as difference. So that's why Vishnu Chakravarti says that my devotee does not see difference between himself and all living beings, just as a person does not differentiate between himself and his various limbs. So the devotee sees himself as non-different from all beings. The devotee seeing non-difference is taking others' happiness and distress as his own. So my devotee does not see difference between himself and all living beings. But this Vishnu Chakravarti is giving a slightly different translation. Yata puman na swangeshu shirapanyadishu kochit parakya buddhim kurute evam bhuteshu matparah. This is similar to the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter verse, I think 31st or 32nd. What is that shloka? 6.32. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukam va yadiva dukkam sayogi paramo matah. The yogi who considers others' happiness to be his own happiness and others' distress to be his own distress, such a person is considered to be the topmost yogi. The same thought is mentioned here. My devotee does not see difference between himself and other living entities. Just as a person does not differentiate between himself and his various limbs, such as the head and hand. The devotee seeing non-difference, what does it mean? That means the devotee is taking others' happiness to be his own happiness and others' distress to be his own distress. That is the meaning here. That's also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 6.32. So Prabhupada writes here, whenever there is a disease in any part of the body, the whole body takes care of the ailing part. So similarly, a devotee's oneness is manifested in his compassion for all the conditioned souls. The devotee sees oneness between himself and other living entities. That means he sees others' distress to be his own distress. Therefore, he shows compassion towards others. Pandita Samadarshina. The devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul, and therefore they are known as Aparakya Buddhi. So because the devotees see every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, they preach Krishna consciousness to everyone. If a particular part of the body is diseased, the whole attention of the body goes to that part. Similarly, devotees care for any person who is forgetful of Krishna and therefore in material consciousness. So the equal vision of the devotee is that he works to get all the living entities back home, back to God. So that is the equal vision. Because he sees others' distress to be his own distress. Others are suffering and forgetfulness of Krishna. Therefore, he puts effort to take everyone back home, back to God. And then we will see the next shloka next week. The next shloka, we will discuss a little more detail next week. The next shloka is the concluding verse spoken by Vishnu. And then the rest of the chapter concludes this episode. What is the benefit of having such an equal vision? That is described in the next shloka, the important shloka. So today we discussed, they completed the prayers offered by the Brahmanas to Vishnu, and then Daksha Prajapati, he started the sacrifice which was contaminated by Veerabhadra, the associate of Shiva, and then the Lord Vishnu appeared to be pleased with Daksha Prajapati, but he is not actually completely pleased because Daksha had offended Lord Shiva. So Lord Vishnu is giving the final word instructions to Daksha. Daksha committed offense to Lord Shiva because Daksha saw Lord Shiva to be independent of Vishnu. Daksha interfered with the quota of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he did not he stopped the sacrificial offering meant for Lord Shiva. Therefore, he did not follow the Ishavasya principle. So, Lord is actually telling that how only the ignorant person sees himself to be different from Brahma and Shiva. So, we discussed about the Satkaryavada, where the effect is identical with the cause, but the cause is not identical with the effect. Effect is dependent on the cause, but the cause is independent of the effect. That is how we have to understand. When we say Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavanmam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many births, a really knowledgeable person understands Lord Vasudeva to be all in all and surrenders to him. Vasudeva Sarvamati understands Lord Vasudeva to be all in all means everything is an energy of Lord Vasudeva. It's not that everything is Vasudeva identical in all respects. Hare Krishna. So anybody has any questions?
Prabhuji, next time from 54 onwards, no?
Yes, 54 onwards.
Haribol.
We'll be completing this chapter next week. Hare Krishna. So then we'll stop here if there are no more questions. Thank you very much.